we going to start the video now. What up? Hello everyone and welcome to the beginning of my new hair care series video where we will be discussing how to grow long and healthy hair. There will be 5 videos in this series and today's video will just be the basics, the introduction to long hair growing skills, and it will be my sort of holy grail, ride or die tips, the things that I do in my daily life to keep my hair nice and long and healthy and shiny and all that jazz. So starting with number 1. The very most important thing that you can do for your hair, and the king of basic human function, is, drumroll, water. Wow, who would have thought it? Water is the most important thing for you as a human being. So this bad boy will help with every bodily function that you have, not just your hair. It helps obviously make your skin nice and hydrated, and it does work the same way for hair. So being super duper hydrated, your hair does not need to overproduce oil, and that's a major problem with a lot of people is they don't drink enough water, so your skin and your scalp are dehydrated and therefore overproducing oil to try and nourish the skin, nourish the hair follicles, and you end up having mass overproduction of oil, which on your face produces pimples and your hair gets super greasy super quick. So in order to fix that problem, you must drink at least the bare minimum, drink 1 liter a day. Like if you're like I used to be one of those people that just never drank water, try and drink 1 liter. Here I've got a 1.5 liter. I try and drink one of these a day at least. If I can finish this in a day, I will be happy. If I can have 2 of these, I'm a legend. You know, you know how much you're supposed to have every day. Try and drink that, because not only will your hair benefit from it, but just everything will work better. Your skin and your hair will look fabulous, and there's just nothing I can say that is bad about water. I'm gonna have some now because I'm thirsty. So tip number 2. Now this one can be slightly controversial. I feel like not everyone agrees with this method. I am for this. Some people are against this. Hair trims. I know some people think that if they cut their hair, it's not gonna get any longer, and I was one of those people. Back when I was in high school, I got a haircut that was way too short. The hairdresser cut it to like probably there, and I was just like, oh my god. So then after that I swore I would never get my hair cut by a hairdresser again. Hair trims are really super important. Please remember, your hair grows from here, not from here. So your hair is always growing. If your hair is not getting longer, it's because it's breaking off on the ends. Trimming your hair, don't do it every month. Don't do it every other month. Unless your hair is in the condition that mine is, where it's growing super quickly and you need to cut it every 2 months, then yes, cut it. But to begin with, I think I was cutting mine every like 4 months, and just to trim. That would be the maximum. Sometimes it would be this much. It just depends on your hair's condition. You may have to chop a little bit more off at the start, but you can slowly bring that down the more healthy that your hair gets. And it's such a good feeling when your hair is cut, because the ends are so soft, they're so blunt, they're so thick, they feel healthy, and then you're sort of starting with a clean slate. Starting with a fresh base that you can then start your hair care mission. I would recommend just getting a small trim you know, 3 times a year. It is not that much. It really isn't. I know your hair, they say your hair only grows like 1/4 of an inch each month. I believe my hair grows faster than that now, and that is because of the health and condition of my hair. So the next one is a pretty obvious one. Don't use heat on your hair if you can avoid it. I know that it's hard, and if you do have an event or a formal occasion or a wedding or whatever the scenario may be, of course you can curl your hair or straighten your hair, but if you're going to use heat, use heat defense products. I use the Tresemme Heat Tamer Protective Spray. This one's vitamin enriched. It helps make my hair shinier. It protects it from heat. It is one of those products that just lasts forever. I feel like I've had this one for a year now probably, or coming close to a year, and I've still got quite a bit in here. In saying that, I don't use heat on my hair very often, so the less you use heat, the less that you have to use one of these, which means the more money you save. So think of it like that, and maybe it might be an incentive for you to not use heat so much. You should really try and avoid it. I understand if you have got frizzy hair, or if you have got very unruly and wild hair, I can understand that you may want to just straighten it so that it's nice and sleek. Like, this is my natural hair. I was blessed with very manageable hair, although my hair is very flat, has no volume, it won't hold styles very well. But if I just want to roll out of bed, I don't even have to do anything. So yes, I'm blessed in that sense. If you have got beautiful curly hair that when you wake up in the morning is like this, try using products that are not heat based. So you've got your hair oils and serums, you've got what I love to use on my hair, and I think everyone should have one, is a smoothing brush. This one was from like Woolworths years and years ago. It cost me like $3 or $4. Totally inexpensive. You can get good ones or crappy ones like this, and they all do the same thing. What I would recommend you do is, if you have really frizzy or really very tightly curled hair, or even just you want it to be a little bit more sleek, try spritzing it with a little bit of water just to dampen it a little bit. Maybe like comb through it first. Get your hair serums or your hair oils and just run it through your hair so it kind of tames the hair, controls the frizz. Then you get your smoothing brush out and it just grabs every individual part of the hair, and it just helps to slick it back to your head or to keep the hair nice and smooth and soft. It's great for hairstyling. If you have really crazy hair, try doing some heatless hairstyles. You could do a little top knot bun, like half up, half down. You could obviously just do a little regular bun. Ponytails, braids are amazing. If you have short hair, you could try like pinning bits up and just sort of styling maybe the fringe part, or you could have a little bit of a play around with things. But I think one of these brushes is a really inexpensive investment, and you will have a much easier time styling your hair. So the next one I'm going to talk about is something that I think is super important, and it is one of the things that I have noticed the bigger noticeable change from doing it, and that is scalp massages. Now this one you can do when you're doing like a hair mask or an oil treatment. I do it when I am shampooing or conditioning my hair. You need to make sure that you don't do it too forcefully, not too rough, and not yanking on the hair, because that can actually do damage. You just need to really lightly do it. I find, easiest when you're in the shower and you're washing your hair with shampoo or conditioner, just to do it like this. Try not to knot your hair up too much. If you feel like it's getting knotted, just lift your fingers out and move them around, lift them out. It's fun to do if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend and you want to give each other head massages, or with your best friend if you're having a sleepover or whatever it is. Head massages are amazing because what it does is it stimulates the circulation in your scalp, which in turn stimulates hair growth. It's a, you know, free thing that you can do at home. So even if, you know, you're just starting out and you don't have money, scalp massages, water, and you're heading in the right direction. Now, the next one is bleaching and coloring hair. I understand for all you blondes out there that, you know, bleach your hair. I understand you've got amazing hair, it looks great, but if you want to have hair that is, you know, as long as mine or longer, you are not going to get there if you constantly bleach your hair. It just won't happen. I understand that there is like Olaplex and all these sort of recent bleaching products which are there to help keep your hair in a really, really healthy condition, but no matter whether you're dyeing it brown or bleaching it, the chemicals that are in hair dye are so harsh and so strong. They strip your hair of all of its elasticity and all of its natural oils, and it makes it very dry, very brittle, especially if you bleach it. Now, about 4 years ago, when it wasn't ombre, it was dip dye, yeah, I had bleached my hair up to here. All of this was bleached, and at the time, like I wasn't getting haircuts, I was just trimming it every so often myself, and not very well at the time. That destroyed my hair. Like, my hair just broke off and it just started getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and the blonde was growing out, so it was getting lower and lower and lower to the point where I had, like, you know, little blonde chunks like that, and it just looked stupid. So then I had to go back to the hairdresser and get some more like blonde foils put in, and after that time I realized that it was doing so much damage to my hair. And I yes, it might like look good at the time, but I think your natural hair is just as beautiful. And what I was doing for a while was tinting my hair instead of bleaching it, so just lightening it a little bit, and I quite like the sort of warmer tones. I feel like it suits my complexion, but if you're a cool tone kind of gal, tint it, then tone it, and you know, you're not bleaching it. But I would avoid dyeing your hair at all costs. I haven't dyed my hair in about coming on 2 years now. So this color at the top here is my natural color, and this is just what's left over from the colors that I've had on my hair. And my hair has grown so much quicker since my last dye because I've been looking after it and I haven't put any harsh chemicals into it. Just try not to do it if you can avoid it. If you are a die-hard blonde, then I think ombre is the new frontier. I think that softened root or that sort of balayage ombre kind of look is incredible because you can use your natural hair color and have it fade into blonde, so you still look blonde without the upkeep and without having to constantly bleach your hair. Now, I'm just going to touch on this next one because I will be doing a separate video on this. This is something that I feel is a bit of an underdog in the hair world. I feel like it's not spoken about enough, and it is something that has really changed my hair care game. I feel like when I switched to this method, my hair did feel and look so much healthier. And what I'm talking about is sulfate-free shampoos. Sulfates are the chemicals in your cleaning products and your shampoo and all that sort of stuff that creates that lather effect, which makes us feel clean, but what it actually does is it strips your hair of its natural oils and causes your hair to dry out even more. Therefore, you need to wash your hair again because your hair is overproducing oil, and it's this vicious cycle. Try not to wash your hair too much. I understand if it is greasy, dry shampoo will be your best friend. If you can't afford dry shampoo, talcum powder. I used to use that when I was in high school. Just talcum powder on the roots and you just kind of rub it in. Don't use too much, otherwise you'll look like a grandma. But dry shampoo is amazing. Up hairstyles, like just a sleek ponytail will hide your greasiness. Try not to wash it, because if you're using a shampoo that has sulfate in it, your hair's going to get greasier quicker, and it's going to eventually dry your actual hair strands out and cause breakage. I will discuss this further in my next video though, so moving on. Please, please, please do not brush your hair when it is wet. I used to stand in the shower once I had my conditioner in and brush through my hair. This is the worst thing that you can do for your hair. When your hair is wet, it's in its most fragile state, especially when it's hot water. Your hair is so susceptible to breakage, and if you are brushing your hair when it's wet, the likelihood is that there will be hair strands that will break when they didn't need to, plus the more fragile, already split hair will break even further, and you will lose a lot more hair. What I like to do now is I wash my hair and then I wrap it up in a towel. I leave it for like 10 minutes, or just, you know, put my moisturizer on and everything, and then when I take the towel off, my hair is just kind of damp. If I need to blow dry my hair, I will just spray my heat defense spray on, then I will put my hair oil, or if I'm not, I'll just put the hair oil, and then brush through it gently when it's damp. The hair oil helps to just make it detangle easier, and you don't need to pull. The other thing I would recommend is brushing it from the bottom up, because if you start at the bottom, you're sort of spreading the hair strands and you're not yanking down on knots, because if you do that, what it does is it actually breaks the hair off like up here, and it causes breakage up here. If you start at the bottom, now will you? If you start at the bottom, then work your way up. By the time you get to here, the knots are sort of already separated and they're gone. So that's a really good tip as well for you to do when brushing your hair. So I'm just going to touch on the next topic. This will be another part of this series, which is hair oils and hair masks. Now, hair oils are incredible for your hair, not only for the way that it feels and the way that it looks, but also for its health. Now, depending on what you want to achieve from your hair, if you just want it to grow, I would stick with natural oils. If you're wanting it to look shinier or control frizz, then maybe you may need to buy a serum or something like that, but I find that all just natural oils have worked wonders for my hair, and I would highly recommend that you do the same thing. I will discuss the details of the hair oils that I use in the next video, so if that is something that you want to know, just head on over to the next video if it's up. If it's not, keep an eye out for it. So the final thing that I'm going to talk about, I'm also making a video about, which is diet and vitamins. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the actual things that you should be eating and all that sort of stuff, but all I'm going to say is that what you put inside your body shines through to the outside. Your skin is your body's largest organ, so everything that you put on it goes straight into your bloodstream and can seriously damage everything if you're not looking after it properly. So there are certain vitamins in foods that you eat which can benefit your scalp and can even, stimulate hair growth. Not only your hair but your skin. I think that that's the best part about trying to grow your hair longer, is that everything that you do for your hair generally will help your skin as well. Okay, so that about sums it up. If you are interested in any of the topics that I haven't really gone over too much in this video, then head on over to any of those videos. If all of them are up, I will link them in the description. If they're not, then stay tuned. Subscribe to my channel, there's a good plug, for notifications on when I upload, and you shall be able to see those videos when they are up. I hope this was helpful, even to one of you. If I've helped one of you, then I've done my job. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in the other videos, have a look down below, and I will see you in the next video, part 2. Bye!